Namaskar. This is Dada Ranjitananda. Welcome to this webinar, to our course on the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata according to Tantra. Today is the lesson number 5, is our class number 5 for this course. And you can ask questions through the writing on the chat window. So if you need to communicate something or to ask a question, just type on the chat window. In this lesson, we are going to talk about the 3 vital factors. And these are Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Sevaya. Just a review of the course so far. We had a pause for a week or so I hope you had time to review some of the previous recordings. And the lesson 1, we talked about the Bhagavad Gita in general and the Mahabharata, but giving an interpretation from Tantra. So that the lesson 1 was kind of more general, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata in general. Lesson 2 and 3, I concentrated on the meaning of the word Krishna, and that was historical, philosophical, biological, and according to Raja Yoga. The lesson number 4, we also went into meaning of words, and in this case we studied the meaning of the words Bhagavad, Gita, and Bharata. Now, number 5, we'll talk about the 3 vital factors. Actually, this lesson stands on itself. This one about the 3 vital factors is a philosophical topic which basically is not defined in this way in the Bhagavad Gita, but it is based on the Bhagavad Gita. It's an interpretation. The Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. I'm not going to go into these chapters even during the whole course, but I just thought to include a general overview today on these 18 courses, on these 18 chapters. So I will just go over a little bit quickly on these 18 chapters. You may make some notes, at least you have an idea of the structure of the Bhagavad Gita. So the first one is the distress of Arjuna. There are 46 verses there. And in that one, the story is that Arjuna requests Krishna to move his chariot between the 2 armies. And at that point, looking at both armies, Arjuna kind of loses the desire to fight. So now it's Krishna that has to talk a lot to him to instill in him the desire to fight again. Now the second one, also known as the Book of Doctrines, which contains 72 verses. So in that one, Arjuna, after he asks Krishna for help, he is instructed in various subjects, such as Karma Yoga, which is the yoga of action, Jnana Yoga, and Sankhya Yoga, philosophy, Buddhi Yoga, intellect, and the immortal nature of the soul. So that would be the number 2. The number 3, Karma Yoga. Now Krishna explains how Karma Yoga, or doing one's duty, or action, without attachment to the results, is the appropriate course of action for Arjuna. So that was the number 3. Number 4, Jnana and Karma Sannyasa Yoga. This is the part of knowledge. Jnana is knowledge. So in that one, Krishna reveals that he has lived through many births, teaching yoga, and that was for the protection of the good people and destruction of the bad people, and also stresses the importance of a guru. So that was number 4. Number 5, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, renouncing the fruits of actions, 29 verses. In this one, Arjuna asks Krishna if it's better to act or to forego the action, or it means a renunciation or action. And Krishna replies that acting or karma yoga is superior. Then there is Dhyan yoga. Dhyan is more like a deeper meditation or contemplation, or in this case here is saying self-restraint. It contains 47 verses. Krishna describes the Ashtanga Yoga, and he elucidates the difficulties of the mind and the techniques that one can use to master the mind. Then comes the Jnana and Vijnana Yoga. In this one, Krishna describes the absolute reality and Maya. That was number 7. In number 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga. This chapter, Krishna describes the importance of the last thought before death. So just means the moment of death, what the importance of that thought. And the difference between the material world and the spiritual world, and so on. Then there is the Raja, Vidya, Raja, Guha Yoga. And this is about special knowledge. Krishna in this one explains how his eternal energy pervades, creates, and maintains and destroys the entire universe. So that was the number 9. Okay, so anyway, this is half of it. This is like a general and quick overview. And we go to the other chapters. In here, number 10, Vibhuti Vistara Yoga, 42 verses. Now Krishna describes, he is described as the ultimate cause of all material and spiritual existence. So Krishna being that ultimate cause. And in this one, Arjuna accepts Krishna as the Supreme Being. So that was number 10. Number 11, Vishrupa Darshan Yoga. In this one, Krishna displays his universal form to Arjuna upon his request. It's a very important one. Number 12, Bhakti Yoga, devotion. So in this one, Krishna talks about the path of devotion, and he explained different forms of spiritual disciplines. And number 13, Ksheta Kshetragya Vibhaga Yoga. And that's the difference between the transient, perishable physical body and the immutable eternal soul. That was number 13. Number 14, the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. In this one, Krishna explained the three gunas of the material world, of the material nature. And number 15, Purushottam Yoga. Krishna, in this one, identifies the characteristics of the Supreme, of God, and omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience. And he also describes a symbolic tree, the divine tree has the roots up and the branches down. So the roots are in the Supreme and the branches are down. And then the number 16, Daivashura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Now, in this one, Krishna identifies the human traits, divine and let's say demonic nature. Then 17, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, another 28 verses. And in this one, Krishna qualifies the three divisions of faith, thoughts, deeds, and the difference between the three gunas. Then the final one, Moksha, Sannyasa Yoga. Moksha means salvation or the final attainment. So in this chapter, the conclusions of all the other chapters. So Krishna asks Arjuna to abandon all dharmas and surrender to him. So that's the ultimate perfection. So these are the 18 chapters. So more I just describe this more that you have a general overview, and you can come back to this part just to understand what's included in the Bhagavad Gita. But in this course, we are not going into details of all these chapters. So at this point, let me ask you a question. And this is the question. Have you ever read the Bhagavad Gita? Okay, I'm waiting a little bit until everybody... Okay, most of the people have answered. So let's close it and share the results. Okay, so most of you have glanced through it, but have not really read it. Now, the thing about the Bhagavad Gita is that most of the time you will find translations, and those translations are done more like an interpretation by the author, so that particular translation. But still, if you find time during this course, try to get a copy. You can also get online, you can also find online, and kind of glance through it again, kind of read it again. It will help a little bit with the course, but it's not fundamentally necessary, because during this course we'll be seeing some aspects of it that will give you a general idea of the philosophy contained in it. Okay. Today, the topic is the three vital factors, also the three factors for spiritual success, which is a shloka with three parts: Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Sevaya. Let's see what it means. It is about success. It's about how to be successful in life. It is about what is success, and it's about what is real success. And I came across this quote from Thomas Jefferson, which I found very interesting. It goes like that. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act. Action will delineate and define you. So it is what we do in our life that will make us successful or not, or that will build ourselves, our character, our spirituality, and our whole being. We can first look at success in the physical sphere. So in the physical sphere, the physical world, it is what I have done that defines the success. With my body, which has the sensory organs and the motor organs, I have done lots of actions and I have obtained various objects. Now, these actions that I do give me a sensation of success. Plus, the society also recognizes what I got or what I have or what I have done as a proof of success. So that shows success in the physical sphere. But our existence as a human being is not only in the physical sphere, it's also in the mental sphere. So what is success in the mental sphere? Is that I feel successful for what I have or for what I have done. So if I feel successful, then I can say I'm successful in the mental sphere. You see, I can, let's say, be successful in the physical sphere in the sense of having so many objects and have done so many things, and society also recognizing that I'm successful, but in my mental sphere, I may feel depressed and not happy, so it means in that way I'm not successful in the mental sphere. But if I feel successful also in the mental sphere, I get some personal recognition, and I also get social recognition, and I'm satisfied for what I have done, what I am, then I can say I'm successful in the mental sphere. So successful in the physical sphere, in the mental sphere. But what is the problem? The problem is that I'm successful in the material sphere, I have this, I have that, but material objects don't last. They come, they go, so that success is temporary. Also, the society may recognize and may say, oh, you are very successful at that time. But when the time goes by, then the social values change, and the society doesn't recognize that anymore. So what I was very successful, and then I become nothing or nobody. And if I'm very successful intellectually, my intellect also, maybe I forget everything, I become old, so the intellect also doesn't remain. So that success is also temporary. Now, I will ask you a question, and this question you can reply by typing in the chat window. And I want, if you can give me an example of a situation that the social values change so much that one person that was considered by the society very successful, when those social values changed, the person was not considered successful anymore. Would you be able to give an example of a change in the social values that changed the perception of the people about success? So maybe you can type something in the chat window. If you don't understand the question, you can say that you don't understand. I try to make it again. So basically, I want, if you can give us a social change that has happened in our history, that changed the social value so much that people who were considered, let's say, on the top of the society at that time, when the social values changed, they were not considered either good people or at the top anymore. Okay, somebody's giving a very present situation, is talking about the President Trump election. Yes, it can be. Somebody is saying cannot think of an example at the moment. Okay. Okay, let me give an example. For example, just imagine when, oh, okay, we have some more here. Not so many years ago, yoga was considered a quaint pastime. Now it's much more in the public view. Okay, that's also. But okay, I'll give you one example. In the Eastern Europe, when Eastern Europe was a communist regime, all communists were on the top. They were like very important people, very respected people, and everybody had tremendous respect, fear in relation to them. Now, in a very short time, communism fell and the regime changed. Now, those people who were on the top, they were the communists, they suddenly saw themselves on the bottom. Or if they were like, suppose they were presenting themselves as heroes to the society, just with that change, they became like enemies, or they were somewhere in prison, killed. So that happened just because the social values changed. Okay, so that could be one example. And in history, we find many examples like that. And even now, the example given here about the yoga. Yes, maybe doing meditation. Maybe society before thought, oh, this person doing meditation is wasting his time or her time. Maybe in the future it will be, oh, that person is really utilizing his maximum potential, her maximum potential by doing meditation. So see how things change. All right. So let me move ahead here. Let's talk about real success. This real success may or may not be recognized by the society. So you see, for example, this story. 2,500 years ago, a prince having all the wealth and material pleasure left his palace searching for real success because he felt that the material success, having all the wealth, having health, having his bright intellect, all that was not enough. And he saw that people get old, people die, people get sick, and that doesn't last forever. So he wanted something that really lasts. And that is permanent success, that is real success. So that may or may not be recognized by the society, because maybe today's society is more recognizing the physical success or mental success, because the society we live is not really based on, let's say, spirituality. So spiritual success is the real success. Now, the question comes, what is spirituality? It may be something very abstract. We don't have a clear definition. We may think of something religious. Maybe somebody's praying, that is spirituality. Somebody's attending services every week or every day, and that is spirituality. But spirituality is actually something that deals with the permanent and the infinite. Because we human beings, in the end, we want something that doesn't finish. And that doesn't finish is something that cannot be limited. So I would say that the spiritual world is the world of the infinite, is the world of the permanent. So spirituality deals with the permanent, the infinite. And whatever is transient in nature, whatever is limited, ends, that is related either to the mental world or to the physical world. So spirituality is also related to a feeling within, or an experience within, an experience of bliss, what we call ananda. So that is the, let's say, the spiritual world. So spiritual practices are those that take us towards the spiritual success. Now, as long as I am, let's say, tuned to my individual limited I, as long as I'm in that state of mind, I'm not in the spiritual world, because the individual I is limited. Now there is the cosmic I. Cosmic I is infinite. So spirituality is that transformation of the individual limited I into the infinite cosmic I. So it's like the I am into the you are, you being the cosmic consciousness or cosmic entity. And let's say that the individual I is like a little drop of water. This cosmic I is like a big ocean. So the merger of this drop into the ocean, that is the spiritual success, because the drop becomes infinite. Okay, so now we come back to our three factors. So the three factors are for what? They are to take us to spiritual success, to the unlimited, to the infinite. So the first factor is Pranipatena, surrender to the cosmic entity. So what is that? If I am just thinking about I, the individual, limited, I cannot experience the infinite I, the cosmic I. So I have somehow to let that drop merge into that ocean. And that is the surrender. The surrender is I surrender the little I into the big one. Now, it's a bit abstract, but it can go in steps. For example, in the Gita, Arjuna tells to Krishna, this is in the chapter 3, and that's the second verse. It's related to Karma Yoga. And this is a translation, okay? Arjuna is saying, my intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me more decisively what is most beneficial for me. So as you see, in this case, Arjuna is basically surrendering to Krishna, saying that his intelligence cannot comprehend. So please, you tell me what to do. So that is kind of Arjuna surrendering to Krishna. He understands that his mind cannot guide him to where he wants to go. So as the mind cannot guide, so he's surrendering to Krishna. And if we remember the various meanings of Krishna, so in this case, Arjuna is surrendered to the cosmic being to guide him. So that is surrender. So this pranipata is to surrender. And surrender doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean that you will stop doing. It means in the case here, Arjuna is asking Krishna, tell me what I should do. So it means he wants to do it. So pranipata, surrender, is to understand that everything is done by the eternal entity alone. So even I can think that I'm doing, but in the end is the cosmic entity that is doing through me, that I'm just like an expression of the cosmic entity. And here there is a statement that those who think that they have intellect, wealth, and other things are fools, because everything actually belongs to the cosmic entity. We are just acting, but the results of our action also belong to the cosmic entity. So here is a translation of a well-known shloka or a verse that describes the attitude of surrender. So the act of offering is Brahma. That which is offered is also Brahma. The one to whom the offering is made is Brahma. The person making the offering is Brahma. And one will merge in Brahma, become one with Brahma, after completing all the actions assigned to him or to her by Brahma. So that is, this understanding is surrender. So one can feel that the action is made by Brahma, I'm Brahma, the one who is object of the action also Brahma, one receiving also Brahma, everything is Brahma, and one will also be Brahma after finishing all the actions. So that is pranipata. As I mentioned, surrender does not mean to be passive, it means to be active, proactive, realizing the activity of the cosmic I. That is not me, but it's the cosmic one doing everything. So everything is done by the cosmic I, not by the small I. And there is another shloka from the Gita regarding surrender. And it goes like that. Doivihi asha gunamai mamamaya duratyaya mamevaje prapadyante mayametam tarantite. So Krishna is telling, this Maya of mine with the three gunas or the three principles is almost insurmountable. And only those who take refuge in me can overcome this Maya. So Pranipata is very important. That was the first factor. The second factor, okay, Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Pariprashna. Pariprashna means to ask questions. But it's not just ordinary question for curiosity. No, it is you want to ask so that you know what to do and how to do. And here there is the translation of the verse number 1 from chapter 5. It goes like that. O Krishna, from renunciation of activities, again you are praising activities. In the science of uniting the individual consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness. Please tell me definitely which one of the two is more beneficial. So now Arjuna is asking, what is more beneficial? That's a question. So you will find in the Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, various questions by Arjuna, and those questions are Pariprashna. And those are examples of Pariprashna. So you can see that in the Gita, there is a lot of surrender, Pranipata, and there is a lot of questioning, Pariprashna. So these three vital factors are everywhere in the Gita, at least the two that we have seen so far. So the second factor is Pariprashna, is a special type of question. Therefore, in the spiritual world or in the spiritual path, in the movement towards spirituality, it's very important to ask the right questions that we learn what to do, how to do. And that is Pariprashna. That's the second factor. And I will go now to the third one. The third one is service. You will act, but that action will be selfless. Means you are not doing it for your own benefit. You are doing it without self-interest. You are serving, you are doing some service without self-interest. And the idea is to offer maximum service to others, minimum service to oneself. That is Seva, or the third factor. In regarding this, in chapter 4, verse 19, I got this, this translation. The enlightened sages call those persons wise, whose every action is free from the desire for material personal pleasures, and who have burned the reactions of their work in the fire of divine knowledge. It means they are acting with knowledge, acting selflessly, without selfishness. So that's the Seva. And here is also a quote by John Wesley regarding very much for service. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. So that is about service, and that's the third factor. So we have three factors. I'm going to jump to the summary, okay? So basically the three vital factors are Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, Sevaya. Surrender means surrender to the Supreme. Questions, proper questions, what to do, how to do, when to do. So all that we require so that we can advance spiritually. So that is the type of question that's very much necessary. And the number 3, service, doing selfless service. Now, service, what is the benefit of service is that it makes our mind light. Suppose we have many problems, many difficulties in our life, and then we think more about ourselves, what happens to our problems, they grow. Then we think more about ourselves, the problems grow more. But if I think about others, how to help others, if I do help others, then my own problems will also be solved in that process. So it is said that by doing service, the mind becomes light, mind becomes free and easy to move or easy to expand and understand the spiritual world. So that's the effect of service. And service can be in different spheres. I can do physical service in the physical world, so I can give food to people. Maybe I can give money to people. So this is a service in the, let's say, in the physical world. I can do intellectual service. For example, I can make discoveries that will help humanity. I can also help humanity in the mental level. Service can also be in the spiritual level. It means that I can transmit spirituality to the world, to other people. So this is let's say, spiritual service. So there are different types of service can be done, and all are important. We may say that spiritual service, because it's taking people towards something permanent, may be more valuable, more rare, but all types of service are important. So that these are the 3 vital factors. And that's the final summary for today. Do you have any questions? Okay, I have a question. First question is here. What about if I don't have time to do service? Time in our society is one of very important, let's say, factors. It is true that we are all running out of time, but I want to say that time is according to priority. We can allocate time. We can also organize our life in a way that we get time for the important things, because many times we will find that we spend a lot of time on things that are not so important. So if we can prioritize and feel that service is something very important in our life, as well as spiritual practice, then we'll certainly find time for it. It will not be a problem of time. Sometimes we use a lot of our time trying to do something for ourselves so that we can feel good, so we can solve our problems. Maybe that time we can do some service and it will help us solve our problems, help others, make our mind light. So service can be very helpful. Okay, I have another, like a comment here. This is not a question, but a phrase which sticks in my mind from the Gita. And the phrase is this one: Rest thy mind on me, saith the Lord. Perhaps not for public understanding. Okay, this is very interesting. When you are also doing service, you have also to keep your mind on the Supreme. That idea that on the surrender, that the one doing the action is the Supreme Entity. The one receiving, like suppose I'm giving food to somebody. So me, basically, I'm an expression of the Supreme. That's somebody also. What I'm giving also, the act of doing it also. So if I can keep that ideation during the service that I'm doing, then I'm also doing the Pranipata, okay, at the same time. Okay, all right. So I don't see any questions or comments. And all right, so I think we can maybe end the presentation of today. So thank you very much for participating, taking the time to participate, and see you next week. Namaskar.